Okay, I think we'll get going here. If other people are going to join, they'll just kind of be joining just a second late. But we have about half of the numbers that we were expecting, so I think we're almost there. We'll start out here. So first and foremost, we'd just like to thank everyone for your interest in the International Studies program. We've heard that people are calling in and joining our Zoom call from across the United States and across the world, so that's pretty exciting for us. Thank you, and we'd like to make this around an hour long, and we'll have the recording afterwards, so if you have any questions, you can follow up. Great. So we're the International Studies program at UC San Diego. This is part of our Triton talk. Again, thank you for joining us. A couple reminders just before we get going here. This is a reminder that this session will be recorded. Please don't share any personal information, whether in the chat or, if you are to unmute your microphone towards the end, please don't share anything personal. And we'll utilize the question and answer feature if you have questions. Live question and answers will be available towards the end of the presentation. So although it may seem like we overlooked your question, we'll make sure to get to all the questions by the end. Here's the agenda and what we're looking at today. First of all, we're going to start by introducing ourselves. It's just us three, me, Corey, Aaron, and Eileen. We'll look at the major overview, including the curriculum and the requirements for our major. And we'll look at some opportunities and involvement. And like I said earlier, we'll follow up with the question and answer towards the end of the hour. So just some quick introductions. Our faculty director, Dr. Clark Gibson, was unable to join us today. So, and our director of degree programs, Dr. Nancy Gilson, she was unable to join us as well. So we're the student affairs team. Myself, I'm Corey, and I'll let my two colleagues introduce themselves. Just a little bit about me. I am a master's graduate from UC San Diego, and I joined the student affairs team more recently than my other two colleagues, but I'll let them speak for themselves.
I can go next. Hi, everyone. I'm Eileen. I'm one of the program coordinators and advisors for the International Studies program. I'm also a UCSD alum and former transfer student.
Hi, everyone. My name's Erin Morey, and I, too, am one of the advisors for the undergraduate International Studies program.
So just getting a little bit into our program in general, why choose international studies? We'll have a couple slides later in the presentation about how our major differs from other majors on campus, but just in general, the theory behind international studies is to explore the causes, processes, and consequences and interactions between people, institutions, countries at the global, international, and then national, and even the local level. Obviously, this is really pertinent, being that we're in an election year. There's a lot of, you can't go anywhere without seeing some election stuff. Some more reasons. You're able to connect with students who share an interest of issues, current events, cultures, maybe different languages, and different institutions all across the world. So it's good to be with like-minded students. And finally, you're understanding complexity and changes in this world of globalization. And that's something, if you join our program, you'll hear that word a ton. Globalization, the world is becoming closer than ever. And for the next generation like yourselves, knowing how to understand these relationships is even more important. Moving on, our major, the International Studies program, encompasses 9 majors. And each of these majors starts with the preface of international studies and then the topic. So we have anthropology, economics, history, international business, international studies linguistics, literature, philosophy, political science, and then sociology. As you can see, it's a wide spectrum of different topics that you can study that are all housed under the same international studies program. And then I'm going to pass this over to Eileen. Eileen's going to talk to you a little bit about major requirements and some things to look for as you're a prospective student coming into our program.
Everyone. I'm going to dive a little bit into the major requirements for the program. These are all also on our website, so this will be just kind of a general overview, but you can always take a look at them in more detail on our website. So yeah, I'm going to talk about the language requirement, lower division requirements, our INTL core courses, the disciplinary focus courses, and the 3 interdisciplinary electives in a little bit more detail. Next slide, please. So one requirement for the international studies major for any discipline within the major is the language requirement. You are required in this major to prove proficiency in a language, and you can do this several different ways. Many students will take courses to learn a language. If you do take these courses at UCSD, you'll be taking 4 quarters of a language if you're starting from the beginning. Many students will use AP credit or IB credit or SAT scores to fulfill this language. So you can look at these details that are on here. They're on our website as well if you'd like to see if your test scores or AP credit qualify you to clear the requirement. If you're in community college, we do encourage students to try to take the language requirement and take language courses to fulfill the requirement while at community college. While it's not a requirement, we do recommend to get started on it as soon as possible. You can use ISSA.org to see the language courses and how they articulate with the language courses at UCSD. Another way that students clear this language requirement, if you already speak the language and you're proficient in it, you can take a proficiency exam at UCSD after transfer, and passing of that exam will clear the language requirement. One other method is if you went to high school outside of the United States and the language of instruction was not English, we have a process where you can use your high school history to clear the language requirement. Yeah, and that's just kind of a summary of the language requirement. Getting into some of the lower division requirements for the major, there are 3 disciplines within the international studies major, which have lower division requirements other than the language requirement. So if you're interested in international studies economics, international business, or philosophy within the ISP program, you will have some lower division requirements to complete. Both IS Economics and IS International Business require 3 quarters of calculus at UCSD or their equivalent at community college. Econ does require these 3 econ classes that are listed here in the first little box. Those are microeconomics, market imperfections, and macroeconomics. For IS International Business, you'll be required to take a couple of accounting classes. And for IS Philosophy, you'll be taking Phil 10, Introduction to Logic, or its equivalent. So for these ones, if you have taken some AP courses that cover these, they may cover the lower division requirements once you transfer. And then if you have taken community college courses, again, you may be able to use those similar courses to articulate to these requirements at UCSD. You can use assist.org to check to see if you've already cleared these requirements. So getting into the core courses for the International Studies program, these are 3 upper division courses, INTL 101, 102, and 190. that students, no matter which discipline you're in international studies, you will take these courses. So if you're in IS International Business or IS History or IS Anthropology, you can expect that these courses will be required. INTL 101 is kind of a large lecture style class that you will be taking with your peers in ISP. This class is taught by rotating faculty on campus from different departments. Generally, this class is taught more from a social and cultural perspective as opposed to 102, which I'll talk about in a second, which is more from an economic and political standpoint. But you can see some examples on this slide of different topics that this class has been taught around and the different professors that teach this class. I want to go on to the next slide, Corey. INTL 102 is one of the other core classes that you will take. Like I mentioned before, with INTL 101, this is also a large lecture style class that you'll be in with your peers from the International Studies program. And this course will also be taught by rotating faculty, but this one is more taught from the economic and political perspective. And both of these classes, INTL 101 and 102, they're unique to the international studies major. And they stand out because these courses are interdisciplinary. So you'll get faculty from all different departments on campus teaching it and bringing together all the different disciplines within international studies to examine global topics. Next slide, please. The final INTL core course that all ISP students have to take is INTL 190, the Senior Capstone Seminar. This course, it differs from INTL 101 and 102 because it's a very small seminar style class that you'll take with about 20 other students. And it'll be a course where you write a research paper based on an international topic. Again, we have rotating faculty who teach this course, and they teach based on whatever they're an expert in. There's several different topics to choose from, and you basically will write a research paper based on an international topic and related to the topic that the instructor teaches. In addition to the faculty that we have teach this course, we also always have a couple of instructors who are not faculty on campus. So we'll bring in like an immigration attorney or Brad Auerbach here, who's listed, who works at music festivals and kind of examines the business side of music festivals. So yeah, you'd have a lot of topics to choose from for this class, and it's unique because it is a very small seminar style class where you get to have the experience of writing a research paper. So this slide just has sort of a few examples of classes that you might take depending on which disciplinary focus you have. So for example, if you're an anthropology major, an IS anthropology major, you may take a class called Humans are Cultural Animals or Brain and the Science of Meditation. And this kind of goes on for all the different majors. But basically, for your disciplinary focus, you're going to be taking 8 courses within your disciplinary focus area. So if you're an IS economics major, you'll be taking a total of 8 economics classes that are approved for the IS the IS economics major. And most of these courses, in addition to being in their disciplinary focus area, they will have some international or regional content. The last upper division major requirement that I'll talk about is the interdisciplinary elective requirement, which sort of goes hand in hand with the regional requirement for the major. Every student in international studies is required to take 3 interdisciplinary electives. Basically, interdisciplinary means it's going to be outside of your disciplinary focus area. And the point of this requirement is so that you kind of have more of a broad perspective of the world around you, and you get to take some classes that are outside of your area of specialization. And this requirement, you can choose a lot of different kinds of classes to fulfill it. We have a really big list of a lot of different kinds of classes you can take to kind of broaden your perspective and your knowledge. This sort of goes hand in hand with the regional requirement. You will also be required to take 3 courses which overlap with your other requirements for ISP, which are regionally focused. So we have the different options for regions listed here. They're Africa, East Asia, Europe, Latin America, and the Middle East. So 3 classes out of all of your coursework for the International Studies program will be regionally focused in one area. You can overlap these with the interdisciplinary electives, or you can overlap them with your disciplinary focus. As long as you're not an IS international business major. If you're interested in IS international business, you will be overlapping your regional requirement with your interdisciplinary electives. So this slide just has a few majors at UCSD that are sort of similar to the international studies major. A lot of the times we're asked what is the difference between majoring in international studies, economics, for example, over just majoring in the regular economics major without the international studies component. One of the big differences between just the regular majors on campus and the international studies major is the international component, obviously, and that kind of comes into play with the language requirement. So with many of these majors, you're not required to learn a language, but with international studies, you are. The international studies core courses that I talked about earlier are also a huge component. Those classes are really what international studies is all about, bringing together all the different kinds of perspectives and having an interdisciplinary component to the major. The regional requirement is another difference. You will be having sort of a specialization in one region with international studies. I already mentioned that it'll be interdisciplinary. Your degree will indicate international studies when you graduate with your diploma. It'll have international studies dash your discipline. And then another difference between these is ISP does offer a joint bachelor's master's program, which we'll talk about a little bit later in the presentation. But this is a great opportunity if anyone is interested in going on to a master's in international affairs. Another common question that we're asked is what kind of job or graduate program can I go on to after completing an international studies major? And the answer to that is that there's not really one answer. Because it's an interdisciplinary major, our alumni go on to do so many different kinds of things and have so many different kinds of doors open to them. You can see here on the left, we have a list of some different kinds of careers our alumni have gone on to do. A lot of our alumni have gone on to work in like government, nonprofits, that kind of area of the world. A lot of our alumni have also gone on to several different kinds of graduate programs, Masters of International Affairs or MBAs. It's very varied just because it is an interdisciplinary major. And you can see on our website as well, we do have an alumni page if you're interested in learning a little bit more about different things our alumni have gone on to do and different programs that they've attended. So moving into kind of some of the opportunities that are available at UCSD as an international studies major. One thing that we really love to highlight are the research and internship opportunities that are available on campus. There are so many different research and internship opportunities for students in the social sciences and humanities at UCSD. There's several ways you could go about this independently, and there are also many different programs on campus who facilitate programs that will help you kind of get into research and internships. A lot of students will study and do independent research with faculty where they have taken their class or have gotten to know a faculty member, and they continue working with them and helping out with their research. But in addition to that, some of the programs that kind of help facilitate things like this are the academic internship program on campus, which pairs you to an internship that you can get academic credit for and might be helpful for your future career goals. We have a lot of students in our major who participate in UCDC, which is a program where students go to Washington, D.C. and take a combination of classes and internship opportunities while they're there. UC Center Sacramento is kind of similar to UCDC, but on a state level, so students do the same thing, but within the California government. And then we have the Association of Pacific Rim Universities opportunity, which it's a program where the dean at the School of Global Policy and Strategy, who we work very closely with, sponsors a student each year to go to a conference where there are different topics discussed having to do with globalization. And so, yeah, there's several different opportunities on campus to pursue research and internships. And as advisors, if you do transfer into the major, we're more than happy to connect you with these opportunities. I'm going to pass it off to Erin, and she's going to talk a little bit about some of the other opportunities available at UCSD.
Thanks, Eileen. So I get the pleasure of talking about study abroad. This is one of my favorite topics to discuss, and what better way to learn about the world than to go travel it and explore it. So for study abroad, ISP does have the highest rate of study abroad on campus. So we do send the most students abroad in our majors, which makes sense. We are pretty flexible on how many courses you can take abroad. You know, students can either go for a quarter or a whole academic year, or there are some summer programs as well, if that makes more sense to you or for you and your lifestyle, to just go for a short program over the summer. So students who study abroad do mostly graduate on time. So they're allowed to take 4 courses abroad towards your major, which means that's the same amount of courses you would take at UCSD. So you're not missing out on any time or expanding your graduation or anything if you study abroad. And one of the biggest things that I hear of why students decide not to study abroad or aren't interested in studying abroad is the financial reason. And the Study Abroad Office has done a great job at alleviating this because they do have a financial aid advisor housed within the Study Abroad Office. She is able to pull up your information on what grants and scholarships and everything that you have, also what you're eligible for. And so many students get scholarships to study abroad. So if that's something that you think is kind of standing in your way, don't take it off the table yet. I would definitely explore this. And as you can see, we have a few pictures here of students that have studied abroad. We really have students study abroad all over the world. A lot of students will go to East Asia or Europe, Australia, the Middle East. So really it's just, you can start to think about where you would want to go. You are able to go study abroad even one, maybe 2 times and really fit it into your time at UCSD. And the next program, this is a wonderful program. So this is a joint degree program offered through the International Studies program, as well as the Graduate School of Global Policy and Strategy. We call it the BAMIA program because what this is a freshman entry student could earn their bachelor's degree and their master's degree in 5 years rather than 4 years and 2 years. And then same with the transfer student, it would be a 3-year program for you. This is offered to these 3 majors that are listed here are international studies, international business, political science, and economics. And this is for students that really want to dive in deeper into that advanced training to get a job after graduation and go into the government or nonprofit sector to really look at public policy, international security, business, economics, etc. So this is definitely a great program. It is something that you want to start planning ahead on. For freshman entry students, you do have time to plan during your freshman and sophomore year. If you're a transfer student, I would encourage you to look at these requirements and try and finish as many as your lower division requirements at a community college as possible. That will set you up to graduate on time and really do this program successfully. We go on to the next slide. So here's a great image. Sometimes this program is a little confusing to a lot of people. So here's a great image that kind of shows what this is. So for a freshman entry student, you still have your 4 years as an undergraduate student, but what would happen in your senior year, you actually are going to be taking the first year of a graduate program. So you're in this gray area. The beauty of it is you don't have to take the GRE, which is awesome. And you're still paying freshman tuition during your senior year. At that time, you would graduate with your BA and you would go into that 5th year that would be solely graduate courses, and you would graduate with your Master's of International Affairs. And then for the community college transfer students or any 4-year transfer students that are interested in this program as well, you would have your junior year at UCSD, your senior year, you would still be taking undergraduate courses as well as that first year core of the graduate program, graduate with your bachelor's and move on to graduate with your master's in international affairs the following year. You can go on to the next slide, please. Another great program that we offer at ISP is our honors program. So how Eileen discussed our INTL 190 Capstone seminar, this is similar in the sense that you are going to be writing a research paper, but the beauty of this is you do get to find a faculty advisor that you really enjoy the research that they're doing, or you want to learn more about the research that they're doing, and you get to develop your own question, your own topic, and really build that first chapter for your thesis. And then in the following quarter, you would kind of finish out your thesis. This is a great way to really amp up your writing skills to prepare for graduate school or professional school, or if you're applying to jobs after graduation, you really have this thesis that you can get published and show them as an example of your work. So this would be for students you would apply in your junior year and start this program in your senior year. Up next is a fun one as well, the International Studies Student Association. This is a student org that we pairs with ISP, and it's all run by students, and they're doing some great programming this year. There is a mentorship program, so when you are new to the university, you can be linked up with someone who's a little bit more seasoned than you, and they can show you about the university and different professional development opportunities or social opportunities. So they can really guide you in your academics as well as personal life at UCSD. They also have just some great events. There's career development. They'll do alumni panel. They're doing an event for the elections coming up. They'll bring different people in to explore graduate schools and internship opportunities. So this is really, ISSA is a great organization to get involved in. If you want to see some of the stuff they're doing, you can check out their Instagram, Facebook, and then their website as well. And that's all we have for you today. We are going to open it up to Q&A shortly if you want to keep sending in your questions. There's been some good ones that have come in. We recognize that this is like a stressful time in your life and you're exploring different universities to attend. So don't hesitate to reach out to us. Our email address is just isp@ucsd.edu. If you have any questions about courses that you should be taking in community college, or maybe the language requirement, or you're going to be taking the AP exams or something like that, you can kind of ask us about that. Also on our website, we do have a prospective students page, which will show, those scores. That's where we kind of talk about if you get an AP score, an IB score, the SAT2 exams, or community college coursework that would transfer for our lower division requirements. So that's a great way to see that information and kind of see what's going on in our program.